All right, let's go to our last caller here in Australia, Jay-Z. Hello.
Hello. Hey, Bart.
How's it going? Good morning.
Hey, good man.
7 a.m.? Did you just wake up?
Yeah.
All
No, I
right.
stayed up all night. I was playing.
You stayed up all night. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So where's this hand played out? Is it at the Crown or what?
Oh, not a crown. I was playing a crown just now, but this was played out of a home game.
Oh, okay. So Melbourne home game.
Yeah. It was
Okay.
5-5 with mandatory 10 straddle.
5-5 Aussie plus 10. I was at the Aussie Millions back in 2008. That was a great time during Poker Road days. Took in some tennis.
Oh, yeah. You come
Love
here
the
just for
city.
the poker.
What's that? Yeah, I went. Yeah, we were doing an. I didn't actually get to play in. No, I did play. I actually did play the main event that year. We were doing. We were traveling around doing the podcast, and that was one of our stops. That was the only time I've been to Australia, but it was very
Oh,
very nice.
nice.
So 5-5 plus 10. Okay, and how deep are you guys?
So I have 2,100. The villain has 2,000. So 2,000 effective.
2,000 effective. Okay, I'm gonna use an American dollar sign. That's all I have. Actually, maybe Australia uses the same one, but is it American dollar
Oh,
sign?
it's the same. It's the
Okay.
same. It's the
Oh,
same.
it is the same.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2,000 effective. Okay.
And the straddle is on for 20. We're short-handed. We're six-handed for the hand.
Oh, so there's four blinds in this hand.
Yeah, there's four blinds.
Four blinds. So in essence, the under the gun is the cutoff, right?
Uh,
To the right of
there's
the
six
button.
players.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hmm
So cutoff folds, button folds, and
Okay.
I open it to 70 with king jack of spades
In the small blind.
and a small blind. Yeah.
All right. So here in the five, king jack of spades to 70. Okay.
And all the other blinds call. So it calls
Okay.
around.
Three
Yeah,
calls. So you're out of position against three other guys, and we're
yeah.
at 280 here to the flop. Okay.
And the flop comes four of hearts, four of diamonds, nine of hearts.
Four of hearts, four of diamonds, nine of hearts, and you have king jack of spades.
Yeah, that's correct.
So not much going on for you here.
No, so I just
Okay.
I just check it four
Okay.
ways,
Uh huh.
and then it checks around.
Check, 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 check. Okay.
And the turn is a 10 of clubs.
10 of clubs. So 9-4-4. Hero with king jack of spades. Doesn't see bet the flop. Out of position against three people. Check through. Turns a 10 of clubs. So now you pick up a gut shot here to a queen.
Yeah, got shot. I still check the villain's in the $10 straddle, the
hmm
mandatory straddle, and he bets 100 into 280
So I'm
on
going to
this
put
10.
first straddle. Bets 100. Hero checks. Big blind checks. First straddle. Bets 100. Okay.
Yeah, and the $20 straddler and the hijack folds, and I make the call.
The $20 straddle in the small blind. Oh, $20 straddle in the hijack. Okay, so
And the
fold,
hijack, yeah.
right? Fold, fold, and you're closing the action now, right?
Oh
He
no,
gets
I'm in the
back.
small blind. So
Oh,
he
you're in this,
fold, hijack
right?
folds. Yeah,
So you got the big blind behind you who checked.
yeah, big blind is behind me, but I make the call, and the big blind folds.
So you just decide to check call here. What you think that maybe some occasionally you might be. I mean, you're calling based upon your equity versus a 10 here for the most part.
I'm calling based upon the fact that my king high might be good. I have a gut shot, and then I was thinking if I hit a king or a jack, I might be good as well. But
Okay, so it's
afterwards,
a
I thought,
combination of both. Where
yeah,
I was
yeah,
gonna, I mean, you would, primarily you would say, well, if he has a 10 here, I could have as many as say like 10 outs, right? If say for example, he had ace 10, 3-6, I could have 10 outs. I'm getting almost 3-1, and maybe once in a while he's just like bluffing with some draw that might be good or something like that. It's kind of obviously I'd prefer to close the action here because you got the big blind behind you, but I don't think it's egregious here. Hero calls, big blind folds, and now we are at 480, right?
480. That's correct.
Okay. Before we move on with the video, I want to announce that I'm giving away two 5% pieces of my action on Hustler Casino Live. I'll be going out to Los Angeles next week and playing on the Thirsty Thursday game on September 14th. All you have to do to enter is click on the link in the description. Good luck to all of you, and we'll announce the winners the Wednesday before the game in our community posts section of our YouTube channel. Yep.
And the river comes a 10 of spades.
10 of spades. So the board reads out 9, 4, 4, 10, 10. Let me just ask you a quick question too, back to the turn. I mean, some people would make the argument, like, if you're going to call here on the turn, why not just bet and get some better hands to fold out, like sevens or something like that, that might get checked through on the turn?
I wasn't planning to call, but because of the small size, I decided last minute to make the call because he only bet a third pot.
So your plan was probably to fold, but because he bet so small, you're like, if I put this all together, maybe this is a profitable call.
Yeah, so I just sort of convinced myself to call because I thought I might be ahead, and I thought he bet 7, 8, maybe Queen Jack, flush draws, all those.
So now the river is the 10 of spades. So the board is 9 of hearts, 4 of hearts, 4 of diamonds. Turn is the 10 of clubs, and the river now is the 10 of spades, and the $10 straddler, the first straddler, is the one that bet 100 on the turn. The front door flush draw has missed, but what I would say here, though, is that the hero checked on the flop. You will see a lot of front door flush draws bet off here, especially if he's the third guy, right? Not always. And then, like, it's like, well, if he's not betting a flush draw on the flop, is he then going to bet it on the turn? So that's interesting. Obviously, the river's a 10, but I mean, I think that he can have a fair amount of 10x here as well, too. Obviously, I assume you checked, though, right, on the river?
Yeah, I did check.
Okay.
And then he bets out 500, slightly over pot.
So first straddler bets 500. This is going to bring up something interesting that I didn't even think of. It'll come out in a second here. So with this type of sizing, I think that we can all agree. Can we all agree here that this is almost just a 10?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So for value, is it almost just a 10? And I'm talking about even in an extreme sense. Like, what if he flopped pocket nines? I guess it could be 9-9 here too.
Yeah, 9-9 would make sense as well.
What am I talking about here? No. That doesn't make any sense. No, because 9-9 loses to a 10. Yeah, 9-9 loses to a 10. I mean, that's in the same bucket of hands. 9-9 and 4x are in the same bucket of hands here. Meaning, like, if those hands were slow played on the flop, are they taking this sizing? Because they've got to be somewhat concerned that you check called here a little bit with a 10 on the turn. So
I thought I could have a decent amount of 10s in the spot.
If we were to say that this, just, go with me here. If we were to say that this bet is just a 10 or nothing here, then it's extremely polarized, right? It's an extremely polarized bet. Like, the only thing here, though, is that can't he still have a fair amount of 10x here?
He can for sure, but what factored into the decision that I made was that he was tilting on the day as well, and I thought he would also play this way with miss straight draws like 7, 8, and or small flush draws or Queen Jack. I thought he can make the move for sure with all those hands.
Well, let me, and then I want to get to the ultimate question here, which I find as an interesting little sort of unique sliver of live poker. When we talk about sizing and polarization, usually when you're polarized, like if you're in your opponent's spot and he wants to be polarized, meaning he wants to be like, okay, I'm representing the nuts or a bluff, right? The theory would go that you're supposed to take a large sizing and give your opponent a worse price on a bluff catch. However, Mr. J, let me ask you this question. if he bet like 200 or 300 here, would it be almost more scary to you than 500?
Definitely would. I wouldn't have called. I wouldn't have
Okay.
called 200,
So,
300.
so he can bet 2 or 300 and get more fold equity than by betting 500.
That's correct. Yeah, for
And
for
I've
me
been
it
saying
is. Yeah.
that for years, the little paradox of live poker. Because, like I said, the theory goes that he would want to bet more to give you a worse price on your bluff catch. But what you'll find in live poker, though, is that people might call down to larger sizing and fold out to smaller sizing if you make it look more value if you were in your opponent's spot and he chose like a smaller sizing. Now, whether or not I would call here, I mean, you just said like in the background, like he's tilted. And if it's just a 10 or nothing and he bet 500 and you thought that he was just so full of shit, I mean, the thing that I would say is that obviously like it's bad that you have a jack in your hand here. And I still think that a lot of these, I still think a tilting guy would probably bet off a lot of front door flush draws when checked to him on 944 after you checked and it went check, check. So I would still be very, very concerned about that factor here. But I mean, I've made calls like this in the right types of situations, a little bit of game flow, a little bit of home game types of, spots. On paper here, I would probably not play the hand like this and I would probably fold out, but I can understand if you're considering calling where you're going.
Yeah, and I also thought he might be attacking me as well because this is a pretty big game for me. I've never played a game of this size before. It's pretty much shot taking. I didn't expect it to be 5-5-10. I thought it was 5-5, but then they put the straddle on, and then everyone was straddling, so I didn't really get a choice.
So the game just started getting huge on you, and he thought. So you're saying he's tilting. He thinks you're moving up, so he thinks he can put some pressure on you. Blah 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 blah. And then the other thing that's interesting here too, just a last bit of caveat is that you'll find that guys won't bet this sizing with the 10. We said like the caller like would fold out more likely if the guy bet 200 or 300. The other side to this is that his opponent is unlikely to take a 10 for this sizing because they want to get called. So
that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
What'd you end up doing?
I ended up calling. I made the call. And he shows queen 10 offsuit. He has queen of clubs, 10 of diamonds.
So he had it.
He had it, yeah.
Oh. So he had it. Well, yeah, I mean, going back to this, like I said, like the flop call, the turn call is pretty close. And I would say, here's the thing here. I think you probably can't call the turn if you don't think that there is at least some chance that you might win or have to bluff catch the river. Like it's like maybe even versus this sizing, the hand itself doesn't have enough showdown value or enough future equity to do so. But if you combine, well, I didn't mean showdown value or like actually bluff catching it, but if you're going to call the turn, I think that sometimes you have to bluff catch some rivers. And then there are some times where you think it's going to go check, check, and you're going to win with king high. It's not just, oh, I'm getting 3.8 to 1 and I could hit a king, jack, or queen. So it's not entirely, illogical, but I think that's a little interesting hack into sort of how people think about, bet sizing and stuff in live poker. Thanks for the call, Jay. Appreciate it.
So you think it's a okay call on the river?
Well, I told you on paper I would fold. I told you on paper I'd fold.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, there had to be other stuff going on. I mean, it seems that you're trying to put the stuff in there. This is why I called. He's trying to put some pressure on. I'm just saying that you probably can't just call on the turn based upon your future equity in the hand. You have to sometimes think that you have the best hand some of the time, or you're just going to fold off. Yeah.
So would you check raise the turn as a better play then in this hand?
Nah, check raise the turn. I mean, with king jack, so you've got 2 overcards and a gut shot. I mean, I suppose it could have some merit to it. It could have some merit to it if you thought that someone was going to bet fold the 10. I don't know. Was this guy going to bet fold the 10 to you?
I didn't think so. That's why I didn't do the check raise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call. I appreciate it.